The number 9 Illinois Fighting Illini hit the road to take on the number 19 Indiana Hoosiers in Bloomington, Indiana. Indiana currently favored in this one by 3.5 points at Memorial Stadium. Brad, I just want to say this real quick. I've never seen so many Memorial Stadiums in my life this weekend.
I know.
It almost seems like 90% of stadiums in college football are Memorial Stadium. And I'm sure it's for a good reason.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of history, but I just want to throw that out there. But nonetheless, 7:30 kickoff on NBC, late night kickoff in Indiana. High stakes for both of these teams. Biggest test for Illinois thus far this season, as well as Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana proved themselves last year. Illinois coming up out of nowhere this year. They had potential last year. This year, they've started making their stride with confidence. Both teams starting 3-0. My first question to you, Brad, is when you look at this matchup, do you see it more as a measuring stick for Illinois or more of a Indiana trying to prove last year wasn't just a fluke?
I think for me, easily, it's Indiana trying to prove that what they have is sustainable. Everyone was surprised last year. And I want to say to our Illinois fans, our Illinois listeners, I like Illinois a lot. I just think this is a little bit more of a prove it game because Indiana came out of nowhere. They had a first-year head coach there in Curt Cignetti for first year at Indiana. And they were able to make the playoff. Honestly, I mean, they were competitive. I mean, competitive in the loss to Ohio State. They were competitive in the loss to Notre Dame. But everyone wants to see, was Indiana a one-hit wonder, or are they a real threat in the Big Ten moving forward? I am so excited, man. Just Saturday night in the Midwest, this is a Big Ten game. It's going to be physical. It's going to, we're going to see some, we're going to see, I think, a lot of good offense defense. Now, this is just a classic Big Ten matchup. And just a shout out, I believe Todd Blackledge is going to be on the call for NBC, one of my favorite announcers.
Okay.
I am super excited to watch this one. Really. One final note before I turn over to you.
Sure.
Game day, stupid for not going to this game. This is the game of the weekend, in my opinion, and they're choosing to go to Miami, Florida. They should be in Bloomington for this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was surprised to not see this game on the list for game day. Completely shocked, especially after Florida just got destroyed by LSU. The score was close, but the game wasn't.
Yeah.
But we're not going to take any time away from Indiana. Let's look at Indiana at a glance. Curt Cignetti, you talk about him. Second year at Indiana, coming over from James Madison University, did a phenomenal job building that program up. Yeah. And everyone thought, wow, why is he going to Indiana? Well, I'll tell you why. He ends up winning 11 games last year, takes him to the college football playoff, and gives Indiana some hope that, hey, maybe we can be a football school as well. Indiana known for basketball. Now they're known for football. They've opened slow this year. Old Dominion, they only beat them 26-14, but Old Dominion beat Virginia Tech. I don't know how much that's saying.
Right.
But not so bad of a result maybe in the end. Last two games, they've outscored Kennesaw and Indiana State 129-9. I mean, look, I understand Kennesaw State and Indiana State, not very good opponents compared to Indiana, but man, to beat Indiana State 73-0 last week really impressed me. First real test for Indiana this year. My question to you, Brad, is do you think Indiana has been tested enough yet, or do you think Illinois will have a chance to expose them as not a playoff team yet?
I mean, this is this is a pretty easy answer for me. This is we're going to find out what the real Indiana Hoosiers are about Saturday. Nate, I would say Illinois has been tested because they had to go on the road to Duke. And that, I mean, look, Illinois looked good in that game. They won by, I believe it was 26 points. So we kind of know what Illinois is about a little bit.
We do.
Indiana, I mean, you mentioned Old Dominion, the Fighting Larry Birds of Indiana State, and then Kennesaw State, and the two of those games were just not competitive. So we truly do not know what Indiana is about.
Yeah.
I'm expecting. Look, it would not surprise me to see Illinois come out and shock Indiana a little bit at first, because whole different level of competition, more speed, more power, more depth. we're like I said, we're about to find out what the 2025 Hoosiers are all about.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about them right here. Quarterback Fernando Mendoza transfers in from Cal. Everyone thought, oh my gosh, Cal's done. Mendoza transfers. They end up getting their transfer guy, or a freshman guy, transferred in from Oregon. So he technically was a transfer. Both teams win in this scenario, in my opinion. But speaking of Mendoza, just outstanding play so far. Limiting mistakes. 708 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Granted, the competition hasn't been that great, but there's a lot of NFL buzz around this guy now. He's starting to make his way up draft boards. You talk about the wide receivers he's got. Omar Cooper Jr., 299 yards, 4 touchdowns. Surratt, 164 yards, three touchdowns. Dangerous after the catch, man. Surratt followed Cignetti from James Madison, transfers over to Indiana. We know why. The running back play as well, man. Kalen Black, 217 yards, 1 touchdown. Hemby, 200 yards, 0 touchdowns so far, but he's gotten a lot of carries, a lot of experience. Lee Beebe Jr. is going to be out for this one. Then you look at the defensive side of the ball, only allowing 7.7 points per game. Again, not much competition. 10 sacks on the year thus far. Pretty good. They smothered Indiana State. It wasn't even close. They held them to 77 yards. 77. They almost held them to as many yards as they scored.
Right.
I mean, that's
crazy.
That's insane.
That's crazy, yeah.
I mean, regardless of who you're playing, that's crazy. D'Angelo Pons, 10 tackles, 1 interception. He's a NFL level corner, in my opinion. Louis Moore, 17 tackles, 2 interceptions. Got to ask you this, Brad. Is Mendoza already the best quarterback Illinois will face all year? Or do you think this defense has seen enough talent to handle him?
I really, really like what Indiana has up front. I mean, they've got some. Excuse me. I really, really like what Illinois has up front. Jacobs, Bryant, Thompson Jr. Nate, they've got some dudes, but I'm going to say Fernando Mendoza, and I know the competition hasn't been great. This guy has been really, really good. I was impressed with him at Cal. This was a guy that he was very, very sought after in the portal. I mean, this was a guy Georgia was maybe thinking about getting involved with, and he chooses to go to Indiana. And Nate, I got to say, I think he's looked better than Indiana's quarterback, Curtis Schwartz, last year. He just feels like he is running this Curt Cignetti offense at just a very, very high level. Look, bottom line, this is the best quarterback up into this point that Illinois has faced. Darian Menza for Duke is talented, but I think Mendoza's on a little bit different level. But once again, Mendoza's about to see a whole different, level with Illinois. So I think this guy, he's got a chance to really, really make a name for himself. You mentioned already getting some NFL talk, and if he goes out and shows out Saturday, that his draft stock is going to continue to rise. He's got a good arm. He's accurate, can maneuver in the pocket. He is, like I said, he's really running this Curt Cignetti offense at a very, very high level right now.
Yeah, Omari Cooper Jr. got to be one of the best slot receivers in college football right now, in my opinion. They got to find ways to get this guy open against Illinois' defense and quick, because that rush is going to be coming at them quickly.
Yeah.
Expect Mendoza to use his legs, make plays on the run. Maybe you get Cooper Jr. on an over route. Maybe you get him on a quick mesh route, whatever. You got to get him in open space. And you got to think he's going to be double covered. That's going to leave Surratt wide open too. Either way, if you're Illinois' defense, you're going to have to cover both of these guys. One guy that I want to see get into the play of field this week is their tight end, Nowakowski. What a great name that is, right? I mean, just
sounds like an Indiana name.
Yeah, right. So it's perfect. I think he's got to step it up for them as well. Even if it's just getting that chip block on the edge and giving Mendoza extra time in the pocket, you got to see him step up and make a play. And then we talk about Illinois, right? Illinois has just been so impressive this year as well. You can look at the competition and say what you want, but they keep proving themselves time and time again. They showed up against Duke most recently. We both picked Illinois, and boy, was I happy we did, because Duke got slammed.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. And you look at the defensive front of Illinois. Can they pressure Mendoza like they did against Duke's Darian Mensa? They're ranked 5th in the nation right now, Brad, in points allowed per game, only 7.3. And listen, they've played more competition than Indiana has. So that's impressive to me. They're only allowing 2.64 yards a carry 10 sacks in the year. This defense has impressed me. Then you look at their secondary. Oh, yeah, they can cover too. But they've only had 7 pass defense and 1 interception so far. So they haven't really been tested in the secondary, in my opinion. Duke really didn't have the receivers that I think Indiana's got. It's gonna be interesting to see how that looks. Luke Altmeyer. As much as we talk about Mendoza, Altmeyer is one of those guys who, man, he can step up when the moment's big, and this is a big moment for them. 71% completion rate through the year, 709 yards, 8 touchdowns. One stat that stuck out to me, though, Brad, he's been sacked 9 times already. That's going to be the biggest question for me. Indiana's not necessarily the best defensive front, but you got to think they're going to try to get to Altmeyer with the exotic blitzes early.
That surprised you too with a Brent Bielema-led team that they've given up 9 sacks in 3 games already. I mean, that's definitely a little bit of a alert light in my head that
just a little bit.
Hey, we need to, once again, we have faced Duke, but this is Big Ten play. We need to do a better job of protecting our quarterback because I mean, obviously risk of injury, but if Illinois gets off schedule, that's trouble for the offense as well.
And you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to get behind in the chains. Like we see that all the time in college football. Mm-hmm. Your quarterback goes down, you get a false start penalty because it's on the road late night. The crowd's going to be wild. That offensive line's got to step up. They got to establish the run game early and control the tempo, in my opinion. That's going to be the biggest battle test for this Illinois up front early on. If Illinois pulls this off, though, Brad, do you think Altmeyer becomes a legitimate Heisman contender, or is it still too early to put him in that conversation?
Really, really like him as a quarterback. He is, gutty. He's got a very, very good arm. He's accurate. I still need to see some more from him.
Yeah.
I won't say that I'm ready to put him in that Heisman tier, but he would go up a tier or 2 for me for sure. Just need to see him continue to make plays, continue to see him lead this offense, lead this team. Not quite in that Heisman tier yet with a win, but he's maybe starting to get in the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, I think it all depends on how he comes out and plays, right? Mendoza could come out and light the world on fire, and next thing you know, he's a Heisman front runner. Right. Either quarterback in this game has the capability to really amp it up a level and prove themselves on the center stage Saturday night on NBC. Yeah. You doesn't get much better than that. But when you look at both of these teams undefeated so far, it surprises me, but doesn't surprise me. It's crazy to think about in 2025 that both of these teams have a college football playoff implication early in September. And both of these teams still control their own destiny, regardless of who comes out on top. I think Indiana being favored, but Illinois is always the type of team that's built for physicality, especially early on in September. Keys to victory, probably Illinois. They got to control, like I said, they got to control the line of scrimmage and limit big plays from Indiana's offense. That's going to be the key to victory. I'll turn over to you, Brad. Who do you have coming out on this game Saturday night, NBC primetime?
This is, once again, to me, the game of the week. Nate, something else, just real quick. I'm interested to see, because of the level of competition that Indiana has faced, have they been saving stuff in the playbook?
I think both teams have, probably.
I wouldn't say so much for Illinois because they did go down and had to play Duke, but
they beat them pretty good.
They did. So I'm interested to see, does Indiana, do they unload the playbook? But once again, really, really like Curt Cignetti. Just the culture and what he's doing there in Bloomington is special. I'm going to take Illinois, and it's just for the fact that I just think they're going to be a little bit more physical. I think they are a little bit more battle tested up into this point.
Sure.
And I'm going to take Illinois in a very, very close game. I think they score late in the fourth quarter. And look, I feel like I've really have been very complimentary of Fernando Mendoza this, during our breakdown of this game. I think he makes one key mistake that ends up costing them. So give me the Fighting Illini on this one.
Yeah, this game's going to come down to the trenches. We talk about Big Ten ball all the time. I'm going to go on a whim here, though. I'm going to say Indiana. You said Indiana too, right?
I said Illinois.
Okay, I'm going to take Indiana. I'm going to take Indiana at home at night. Look, this is a big game for Curt Cignetti, right? He needs to prove to the world that Indiana's not a one and done. This is a team that's here to stay. And I'll be honest, this is a big recruiting pitch for both of these teams too, Brad, both for NIL, high school, and transfer portal, because this is the type of game that can put you on the map like that.
Right.
Both of these teams are pretty well ranked, but man, I think either of these teams could come out on top Saturday night. And to me, I got to look at the quarterback play, and I got to say, okay, who's the better quarterback in this one? To me, it's Mendoza.
Yeah.
He's built for the prime time. He's been an underdog the whole college football light through his college football career. He's always been seen as that underdog. Give me Indiana Hoosiers. I think this is a big win for them Saturday night. I'm excited for this game either way, but yeah, I'm excited to see these two quarterbacks go at it Saturday night. It's going to be a fun matchup. Let us know down in the comments, Illinois fans and Indiana fans, your score predictions and your thoughts on this game. Be sure to subscribe down below, give this video a like, and turn on that bell notification so you can stay up to date when we post our latest content. We'll see you next week. It's time to break the huddle.